The episode opens with Gi-hun and Woo-sok arriving at a dock with their team. We learn that they are tracking Gi-hun's location and have set out to find him. The team is also accompanied by a fisherman named Captain Park, who had rescued Gi-hun from the water 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Gi-hun wakes up on a remote island in the Squid Game facility. He once again finds himself wearing the familiar green suit with the number 456. Shortly after, several masked guards appear and welcome all the players. They go on to explain the rules, stating that the players will be staying in the facility for 6 days and competing in 6 games. The winner will receive a handsome cash prize. Amid the speech, a player named Mi-yoongi interrupts and demands his phone back. He claims that he needs to check the crypto market urgently, so a guard responds that their belongings will be returned once the game is over. But when Mi-yoongi continues to insist, the guard becomes very annoyed and plays a video revealing Mi-yoongi's background as a YouTube influencer who encouraged his subscribers to invest in a specific cryptocurrency. That cryptocurrency tanked dramatically, resulting in significant financial losses for everyone who followed his advice. The guard continues to reveal the debts of other players, noting that they are all in desperate situations, with some even wanted by authorities. He concludes by reminding them that since they came here of their own free will, they must respect the rules. Moments later, a golden piggy bank descends, and the guard announces that this is where their money will be collected. He reveals that the winner will receive a grand prize of 45.6 billion won, $31 million, just like in the previous season. However, there's a twist this time. The players can vote to stop the game at any point, and they can actually return home. If this happens, the money accumulated up to that point will be equally distributed among the remaining players. After this, the guard explains that all players can sign a consent form to confirm their participation. Those who don't wish to participate can leave now. As everyone rushes to sign the form, Mi-yoongi is approached by a famous rapper named Thanos and his new friend Namgyu. It turns out these two lost a lot of money in the crypto market after following Mi-yoongi's advice. Thanos then aggressively demands the YouTuber that he return the money he lost, but Mi-yoongi responds that he made his own choice, and no one is responsible for others' decisions. This enrages Thanos, but Namgyu calms him down. On the other hand, Gi-hun's team is still searching for Gi-hun and sailing across the sea. Gi-hun informs Captain Park about the deadly game, and explains that he found someone who played the game on the island and survived. The organizers have dragged this guy back to play again, but he's now fitted with a tracker. At this point, Woo-sok states that the GPS tracker is showing a nearby island. The captain mentions that people used to live on that island, but now only fishermen remain on the shores. Returning to the island, Gi-hun is approached by a man named Young-bae, who turns out to be his old gambling buddy. Young-bae reveals that his wife divorced him, took their child, and all of his money, leaving him penniless and in debt. Worried for his friend, Gi-hun asserts that no matter what happens in the game, they must always stay close, but Young-bae doesn't understand what's going on. Shortly after, the players gather on the field for the first game, which turns out to be the iconic red light, green light, featuring the big creepy doll. Elsewhere, Woo-sok's team arrives at an island, and uses a drone to track their surroundings. They climb a huge rock, and finally reach the place indicated by the tracker. But they do not see Gi-hun anywhere, and only a man is fishing on the shore. Woo-sok frantically searches around, and eventually finds the GPS tracker inside a box full of worms. Meanwhile, at the game, Gi-hun pulls out his teeth, and notices that his prosthesis has been removed, which makes him realize that he's totally screwed. Woo-sok, on the other hand, demands to know how the GPS tracker ended up there, but the terrified man responds that a guy gave him the box earlier, saying he had some extra bait. Returning to Gi-hun, the game is about to begin, so he immediately goes in front, and shouts that this is not a children's game. He explains that the huge doll can detect anyone who moves, and they will be shot to death. Upon hearing this, the players think he's crazy and laugh at him. Some even comment that he's creating all this drama to earn the prize money for himself. We then see the frontman in Ho in his private room, drinking and watching everything with amusement. Seconds later, the game begins, and Gi-hun continues to give everyone instructions. Gi-hun also instructs them to cover their mouth when talking.
Archie, still!
Green light! Red light!
Hold still! Good job!
Several rounds go by, without anyone detected moving or getting hurt. However, at one point, a bee lands on a girl's neck, prompting her to move, resulting in her getting shot to death. Here, the shocked participants finally realize that Gi-hun was correct, and, as expected, they begin to panic by running to the entrance doors. Unfortunately, the chaos results in a large number of fatalities, with people dying left, right, and center. In the distance, we see Newell, who turns out to be one of the snipers shooting at them. But then, she notices the sick little girl's dad among the contestants, leaving her stunned. All the players keep following Gi-hun's instructions, and manage to move forward, getting close to the finish line. During this, many of them are also getting shot due to the slight moves they made. As the time is running out, many players have successfully crossed the finish line, but one is shot in the leg while making a move. Seeing this, Gi-hun and another player rush to help him, and successfully get him closer to safety. However, their efforts are in vain, because as soon as they cross the finish line, the man is shot in the head. The sniper turns out to be Newell, and her colleague asks why she had to do that. The woman calmly responds that he was a loser and that she had to finish him off. After the first game is over, a guard announces that 91 players died today, leaving 365 remaining. The players are now terrified for their lives, so Gi-hun asks if they can take a vote and quit right away. The guard agrees, but says they will first show off the prize money. It turns out to be 9.1 billion won, i.e. $6 million. This is because 91 players were eliminated, and for each death, 100 million won, i.e. $67,000 is added. The money will be divided among the 365 players if they leave now, resulting in 24 million won, or $16,000 per person. Surprisingly, most of the participants are left disappointed, as it won't be enough to pay off their debts. Some even want to play another game to increase their prize money, especially when they learn again about the 45.6 billion won, $31 million, prize money for the winner. Following this, the voting begins, with the X button representing the choice to leave, and the O representing the choice to stay. The voting starts with Gi-hun, the last number among all players. He expectedly votes to leave, and many people follow his lead. But despite the slaughter that occurred earlier, many desperate players still vote to stay, especially those who have heavy debt in the outside world. During the voting process, a frustrated Gi-hun pleads with everyone to leave, warning that if they stay, they will all die. However, the players begin to accuse him of scaring them before they even have a chance to play. An old woman tries to defend Gi-hun, but most of the people are against him and demand to know how he knows so much. With no other choice, Gi-hun finally admits that he's played the games before. He explains that 3 years ago, he was here, and everyone except him died, leading him to win the prize money. Upon hearing this, a participant questions why he would be here if he were already having that much money. But Thanos sees this as an advantage, thinking that Gi-hun can give them tips and tricks to win the next game. Gi-hun still tries to persuade them to leave, so a guard becomes enraged and intervenes. He threatens to arrest Gi-hun if he continues to interfere, and resumes the voting process. In the end, the decision comes down to the slimmest of margins, with 180 votes for X, and 181 votes for O. With the voting tied, everything now relies on player 001, whose face is not shown initially. However, he ends up pressing the O button, meaning the bloody game will continue. And this is when the show takes a shocking turn when the identity of player 001 is revealed. He turns out to be the frontman, aka In-ho. After the voting process, the players are given food and drinks, but Gi-hun is not in the mood to eat. He knows he's back in the game, and this time, his luck might not be on his side. Suddenly, he's approached by In-ho, who is with a group of players. Since Gi-hun has never seen the frontman's face, he doesn't recognize his identity. In-ho asks for his help in the game, and reveals that he only pressed the O button because of Gi-hun's experience. He explains that they will play one more game, after which they will vote to leave this place. Everyone agrees, and asks what they will be playing next, so Gi-hun states that the second game is Dalgona, where they have to carve out shapes in a honeycomb cookie. To add, he reveals that the triangle is the easiest shape, while the umbrella is the most difficult. At this moment, an old man states that perhaps he should keep this information within a small circle, because if everyone knows about it, they will all survive, and the cash prize won't increase. But an enraged Gi-hun says he will tell everyone about it, and how they can win. Afterward, In-ho asks Gi-hun why he returned if he had already won such a large sum of money. Gi-hun responds that it's blood money, stained by the lives of all the participants who died. He also chastises In-ho for pressing the O button, but the latter responds by pointing out that 181 people voted to stay before him. Shortly after, Thanos and Namgyu approach Mi-yoongi again, and blame him for their financial ruin. Thanos even takes the YouTuber's food, and forcefully smears it into his face. The two then drag him to the middle of the hall, and start beating him up. While everyone watches in horror, In-ho suddenly steps forward and orders Thanos to behave himself. The rapper refuses to listen, and tells him to go home and lecture his own kids, but this only enrages In-ho and he begins beating the shit out of Thanos and Namgyu. In the end, the bullies are forced to apologize, and everyone applauds In-ho for his actions. Later that night, In-ho approaches Gi-hun and apologizes if he went over the line earlier. He then talks about his personal life, revealing that his wife has acute cirrhosis, and needs a liver transplant. With tears in his eyes, In-ho reveals that this game is his last hope, and he's determined to save his wife, even if it means using blood money. Meanwhile, on the other side of the facility, some guards are involved in shady business. Turns out they are extracting organs from dead players. But they are disappointed to find that most of the organs are useless as the players have been dead for too long. They need these people alive, but someone keeps finishing them off. They also notice the man who was shot in the leg, but was later shot in the head to make sure he's dead. They realize this is all the doing of Guard 011, Nul, and decide to report it to their superior. Sometime later, Nul is summoned to a meeting with her superior to discuss her behavior. He tells her not to interfere with the work if she isn't going to help. However, Nul reveals that she was just doing her job, which is to kill the players. The man then recalls their meeting 7 years ago, when Nul killed an entire military battalion and managed to escape North Korea. He says he felt sorry for her at the time and decided to help. Nul thanks him for his help, but points out that when he brought her here, he said her job was to put people out of their misery. She thought she was supposed to help people, but the reality turned out to be very different. Her words enraged the superior, so Nul dismisses herself and walks away. Meanwhile, in the outside world, Jun-ho arrives at the police station and meets his old boss. The latter is furious that he resigned without proper notice and asks where he was. However, Jun-ho frantically explains how the deadly game is happening again. Unfortunately, the boss and a high-ranking officer think In-ho's gone crazy, and don't believe him, finally dismissing him. With no help from the police, Jun-ho calls Woo-sok, and they decide to gather more men, and search for the island again until they are successful. Returning to the island, the next game is about to begin, and Gi-hun keeps reminding everyone that the triangle is the easiest shape. But things take a dark turn when he discovers that the triangle shape isn't just one triangle. Luckily, to Gi-hun's relief, this is just a nightmare. Meanwhile, Mi-yoongi is approached by his ex-girlfriend, Jun-hee, who is pregnant. He is shocked to see her and asks what she's doing here. It turns out that she is also a victim of his crypto advice, and is here to pay off her debts. Mi-yoongi apologizes for not contacting her, explaining that he was busy with his own problems, and the police were also after him. Here, he's surprised as he had told her to abort the child, but an enraged Jun-hee tells him that she can take care of the baby herself and doesn't need his help. Just then, a guard announces that the second game is about to begin, so the players head to a field. But the game is not what Gi-hun expected, as the players are asked to split into teams of 5. This prompts everyone to accuse Gi-hun of lying to them, but In-ho defends our hero. After this, Gi-hun teams up with In-ho, his old buddy Young-bae, and 2 Marine guys. Jun-hee also asks if she can join their team, as no one is willing to take her because she's pregnant. The men feel bad for her, so they replace one of the Marines, and take her instead. Next, the players learn that in this game, players have their legs tied together, and each team member must take turns playing a minigame at every 10-meter mark. The group must complete all 5 games in 5 minutes. The 5 mini-games include Gi. Next, Flying Stone, where the player must hit the stone on the ground with another stone to pass. The third game is Gongi, a traditional girls' game that combines elements of dice, jacks, and one-handed juggling. The fourth game is Spinning Top, where players wrap a string around a top, and whip it loose in hopes of it spinning properly. And the fifth game is Jeggy, where the player must kick a sack 5 times in a row without letting it fall to the ground. The teams are given time to prepare, and to choose which mini-games each member will play. Soon enough, the game begins, and 2 teams start at the same time. They start with Gi, and manage to pass it. After this, we see one team struggling during the Flying Stone game, with a player unable to hit the target. Soon, the other team proceeds with the third game, Gong Ji, and manages to pass it after several tries. With less than 2 minutes left, the team proceeds with Spinning Top, while the other team is still stuck with the Flying Stone game. Up next, the leading team manages to pass the Spinning Top game. But unfortunately, both teams are later run out of time. All players are terrified to see this, and the guards begin to clean up the bodies. But 2 of the guards discover that one of the shot players is still alive. They then mark the coffin with a special symbol, but Nul finds out about this and orders them to open the coffin. Since she wears the triangle mask, which is a higher rank than the circle one, they have no choice but to obey her. Nul shoots the man in the head to finally finish him off, and this is where the episode concludes. What do you think will happen next? Will our heroes be able to cross this difficult game? Or will they also succumb to the pressure? Let's find out in our next recap.